I wanted to share a long-term visa option for Vietnam that would allow you to obtain residency after a certain period of time. This is a very exciting option because a lot of you have been looking for ways and means on how you can stay in Vietnam for the long term, especially now that the government has canceled automatic visa extensions, making it more difficult for the average person to stay in the country. And the option that I found is for incorporating a company in Vietnam. It's an interesting option because it does not require as much as you would think. How it works is that the first thing you need to do is choose a company name. Of course, the company name cannot be used by an existing company incorporated in Vietnam. It needs to be a unique name. That is very important. So you're going to use, maybe you're going to have 2 to 3 names, and you're going to run the names that you have through the index, to make sure the company doesn't exist. There's no company with that name yet. That's the first thing you need to do. And once you have chosen your company name, it is time to incorporate the company in Vietnam. And how you do this is by hiring a local agent. There's a couple recommended agents out there that have a good amount of experience that you can use to incorporate your company. As you probably can guess, incorporating the company on your own would be beyond challenging simply because you don't know the local language, and it's going to be very difficult for you to communicate in English when opening up the company yourself, when dealing with the government yourself. Whereas if you just went through an agent, it's going to be much easier for you. So once you incorporate a company, you can get a work permit. And this is powerful because people who have a work permit have permission to stay in Vietnam even during challenging times, like the times that we experienced right now. For the past 2 years, the pandemic really has proven to us that an ordinary tourist visa doesn't really mean a lot, because the government can decide from one day to the next, we don't want to have tourists in our country any longer, and only people with long-term visas such as work permit holders, long-term residence card holders, and of course citizens will be allowed to stay during an emergency situation like a pandemic. Once you've gotten your work permit, this is going to be valid for 2 years. So it's got to be renewed every 2 years. The company itself does not need to be renewed for 50 years. Once the company is incorporated, it's valid for 50 years, and there's nothing that you have to pay to keep it active, other than, of course, having a registered agent. If you want to be the registered agent, if you live in Vietnam permanently, then I would recommend you to use your address. But if you want to hire a registered agent, then you would obviously pay them a monthly or yearly fee, depending on how they operate. And of course, you need to do the yearly accounting. That is important, So in order for you to retain this work permit, to retain the company, it takes accounting, it takes compliance, because if not, they're going to strip you off the company, and you're also going to lose your work permit as a result of you losing the company, which wouldn't be an ideal scenario. You also need to put down some capital. So if you're opening something like a consulting agency or like an internet marketing firm, then the paid up capital is very little, compared to like a typical brick and mortar business like a restaurant, or like a local franchise, that would require a lot more paid up capital than like a smallish firm, like an advertising agency, maybe like an outsourcing firm or some kind of service-based business. How much it takes exactly is very difficult to tell. There isn't really a set amount in terms of how much you need to put down to get this company incorporated, to get the work permit, but it needs to be a reasonable amount. It needs to be enough money for the Vietnamese government to say, yeah, this is a good budget that a business in this category would need to operate. I really think this is a good way, because what other options are there? I mean, unless you want to go out there, expose yourself and start working for a local company, and if you're an entrepreneur, that certainly is no option for you. And in case you can't get married, if you are already married or if you have a foreign girlfriend, but unless you want to get married, it's going to be difficult. And with this company, you can work for the company, you can sell the services or not. I mean, as long as the company is compliant, as long as you really comply with everything, if you do your accounting, if you comply, then the company can stay up for a long time. And I think this is a very interesting option. Yes, it does take some money to set it up. It does take some expertise. It does take, an agent. It does take some kind of help to set it up, unless again you're fluent in Vietnamese and you're able to deal with the government on your own, which I know a lot of people are not, so it would be more challenging for people to do it. Do you have plans for moving to Vietnam, and what do you think about this long-term visa option? Leave a comment below and let us know. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on digital nomad locations, travel updates, visas, crypto advice, and business advice several times a week right now. I highly recommend that you grab a free copy of my ebook Nomad Elite, the Insider's Guide to Retaining a Life of Freedom. All you need to do is click on the link below the video. And if you got some more time left, check out these videos. Thank you for watching.